News Network. First contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings.
Good.
How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back from the weekend. Hope you had a good time. Today we are at the 9th of December, moving right along. You see that we are in a sun sign, or moon sign of Pisces. Our sun sign is Sagittarius, where we will be for just a little bit longer yet. So we have a water sign as our moon sign and a fire sign as our conscious sign. So we have the sun sign. So unconscious and conscious, fire and water. Just imagine how fire and water works in life. Water can put out the fire. Fire can make the water steam, dissipate, or the two of them can work together and they can be real nice and be something productive. So, just depends how we want to use the elements of fire and water. Remember, ideas, fire, water, love, emotions. Okay, those are what we're dealing with today. Later, about 11 o'clock or so, actually a little more, like 2 hours from now, we have a trine between, actually before that, we have a square in about an hour between our moon sign and our sun sign, so a lesson between those, the fire and the water, between the ideas and our emotions. And then as we move along into the day, we see that we have a nice good aspect trining Pisces with Saturn and then also with Jupiter a little bit after that. So trines are good aspects, means the energy is flowing nicely between the two of them. Saturn being discipline, Jupiter being expansion. So expansion of these ideas, these emotional ideas, maybe our ability to understand how and why disciplinarian actions need to take place in our lives. Not in other people's lives, in our lives. We need to discipline ourselves. Everyone needs to be responsible for their own selves and disciplining them, not somebody else. Then we go over to our moon phase. We see that we're at the first quarter, 50% of the way there, making our way up to the full moon. Mayan Oracle, we start a new wave spell today. Today's the wave spell of the seed. So this theme of the seed, which will go on for the next 13 days. Okay, the seed is all about planting, flowering. Plant a seed, seed grows. We have the one, which is the magnetic tone. So today would be the I'm sorry, I said the seed. Today's the sun. This is the seed symbol. They're similar. Okay, this is the sun. Today's the magnetic sun. Sun's about enlightenment. Enlightenment, guided by enlightenment. So we have the yellow magnetic sun. Like-minded energy here is the storm. The dog is the challenge for today. Love, loyalty, and birth is our hidden power. The phrase for today is I unify in order to enlighten, attracting life. I steal the matrix of universal fire with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled. Spaceweather, our solar wind is up to 453.8 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is at a 1 with the 24-hour max of a 4. Means we've got some activity taking place. Look at this coronal hole that's starting to move in. This is a good size one. Certainly already feeling the effect of the wind coming down from the previous coronal holes, and now we got a nice good size one coming into play. M-class flare possibilities back up to 30%. X-class is still low. Geomagnetic storm activity starting to pick up as well. 40% severe in high latitudes, 30% active in the mid latitudes. Let's go on for the report today with suspicious observers. More insight on what's going on here. Here we go. Here we go.
Good morning, folks. NASA's Earth Observatory here, sharing shots of dune movement from the Sahara. Below the larger image, they zoom into the rectangle and track the changing sands over time. I've never actually done that type of comparison before and surprised how easily we see the changes. Folks, I've been talking a bit more about South America the last 10 days. Rain accumulation has statistically deviated north of average, and I've been almost a broken record about watching the accumulation totals here. I've advised that you watch the NASA and JAXA measurement mission for landslide and flash flood potential. They outlined this location all weekend, and disaster has struck Brazil. The rain finally overcame the ground stability, killing a number of people and destroying a number of homes. Worst here has shifted south to Argentina. Next we come to India. Cyclone hasn't yet made significant impact on the coastline, might even be ready to stall for a brief time before diving west towards the subcontinent. Worst is over in Europe from last week's major storms, just a few rain events left over. Wind maps still showing cold air driving down from the north and still creating a convergence with snow showers in the Gulf states and up the east coast. West Australia got a sprinkle coming. New Zealand's next low is between nations at the moment. Latest ice news. Atlantic side of the Arctic is struggling to get it back as fast as the Pacific side. Antarctica not losing ice as fast as it previously has. Here's the latest ice extent at the Arctic in millions of square miles. Dotted line was last year. So yesterday we took an interplanetary shock from a coronal hole stream, and as with all shocks, we see an increase in cosmic rays just before impact, a decrease as the plasma cloud surrounds our planet and actually acts to block more rays than normal, and then a re-rise after the blocking cloud passes. GOES still has flaring on the floor. The departing group is magnetically separated despite visual intensity complexion. Incomers are likely to continue the Earth-facing quiet and solar magnetic shutdown, but it does still hold delta potential behind the triple positive leading umbra. Also excited for the northern hemisphere to get back in the mix after quieting when the solar pole flip became half complete. Hello, Beastie. Density leveling off but falling speed indicates the shock is indeed over. Wake of the shock did not reproduce storm conditions, but it came quite close as instability returned a few hours later. Either way, done is done, and the sensitive meters are showing a good recovery after getting popped in the jaw there. So that's Spaceweather's part of the Quake Watch factors that have been rising. This 5.9 on the USGS hit between 6.0 and 6.5 on about a dozen human and computer readers. Even more unusual is the continental US having 2 4-pointers in consecutive days with this many large 3s continuing. I'll take unusual locations over destructive magnitude any day. Still, power of the coronal holes is now shifting to the Earth-facing openings, especially the one we can't see well down south. If you don't count the downgraded Russian quake from yesterday, this is 9 days without a 6-pointer, way below average. And even though the coronal field is highly dynamic, we might finally be opening towards Earth today. Also seeing those odd buoy movements in the West Pacific. We've seen those precede an uptick or two. Watch score has hovered between 4 and 7 this month, but if those fields open towards Earth with this power, consider the watch score at 8. Shots of our star to close, eyes open. No fear, it's 6:40 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe.
Alright, very good. Alright, moving right along. So, where will we go from here? What are we going to do today? Well, we're going to start off with Obama and the birth certificate. Now, I know you've heard the birth certificate over and over, and you're probably wondering what's going on with the situation. Well, it's still under investigation. We certainly know in here in the United States that the birth document is a forgery. This is about a birth document that was found in Kenya, Mombasa, Kenya, where Obama is from. So let me play this for you here, and just to get us started, and we'll go from there. Here we go.
This is the birth certificate of Barack Obama, the second. It's a child bearing the name Barack Hussein Obama II. It's a seal from Coast Province General Hospital. I'm going to try to get a clear picture of that. Coast Province General Hospital. Here's the 2009 stamp from the Chief Administrator of Coast Province General Hospital, the email as well, telephone number as well, the date when this copy was certified.
It was filed this week in court several days ago. Here he is.
My name is Lucas Daniel Smith. I'm over 18 years old. I'm of sound mind and free of any mental disease or psychological impairment of any kind or condition. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I'm 29 years old, and I was born in the state of Iowa. I have personal knowledge of all the facts and circumstances described herein below and will testify in open court to all of the same. On February 19th, 2009, I visited the Coast Province General Hospital in Mombasa, Kenya. I visited the hospital accompanied by by one more person, a natural-born citizen of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, formerly known as Zaire, and before independence known as the Belgian Congo. I had to pay cash consideration to two different Kenyan military officers, as well as an administrator at the Coast Province General Hospital in Mombasa, Kenya. And this was to obtain the copy of the birth certificate of Barack Hussein Obama.
Okay, here you can see here's the certificate itself.
Administrator. Copy contains an embossed seal. True and correct photocopy of the birth certificate obtained is attached to my affidavit, which is filed in the court here. I solemnly swear under penalty of perjury that all of the facts stated and circumstances described above are true and correct statements. I have not received any compensation for making this affidavit.
You just viewed took place September 8, 2009, in front of the Ronald Reagan Federal Courthouse in Santa Ana, California. Lucas Daniel Smith was present at the courthouse that day to serve as a key witness, if called in support of this case. The case had the potential to bring into question the constitutional eligibility of Barack Obama to serve as president. Here is the declaration by Lucas Smith, which was previously submitted to the court by attorney Orly Tates in support of her case. Here is the last section of the separate affidavit, which was signed under penalty of perjury by Mr. Smith.
Barack has led by example. When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya, we took a public HIV test for the very point of showing folks in Kenya that there is nothing to be embarrassed about in getting tested. And we did it as a couple.
The best thing is that he is a Kenyan and he came back home. No matter how rich he is, no matter the state he's in, he came back home to see us.
Even the neighbors are more or less related to the Senator Barack Obama.
And I know most Kenyans will be so uplifted because he's originally from Kenya.
One quick question. President-elect Obama's birthplace over in Kenya, is that going to be a national spot to go visit where he was born?
It's already an attraction.
Okay. But his birthplace, they'll put up a marker there?
It will depend on the government. It's already well known, as I said.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. You have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is some of the actual evidence that was submitted to the Supreme Court. this is Brother McRae. I'm doing very well. You said you were there with Barack Obama's grandmother. Well, good. Is it possible for you to put her on a speakerphone and translate for me? Okay. Was she present when he was born in Kenya? Okay. When I come in December, I would like to go by the place, the hospital where he was born. Could you tell me where he was born? Was he born in Mombasa?
Alright, so there's something that's out there. Maybe you might not think that is conclusive evidence, but it's another piece of the puzzle. And when you look at all the pieces of the puzzle, they add up. Okay, if this was the only piece in of itself, it'd be one thing. But this isn't the only piece, is it? We know how many pieces there are. We know that there's something really wrong about this administration, about this president. And it's a shame that so many people are getting fooled. But that seems to be what's going on. Alright, UFO news is up next. Stay tuned.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alright, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today I have 8 stories. Let's get to them. The first one has to do with this conference that took place last week. This was the Astrobiology conference, the search for biosignatures in our solar system. A little brief synopsis of this last week. Here's some more information on it. The search for biosignatures in our solar system and beyond. This was from Wednesday. The purpose of the hearing was to examine astrobiology research in the search for biosignatures in the solar system and beyond. The hearing included a general assessment of the interdisciplinary nature of astrobiology research, including the role astrobiology plays in formulating NASA space missions. It will also examine the techniques and capabilities necessary to determine the potential for the existence of biosignatures within our solar system. With the discovery of potential Earth-like planets outside of our solar system, the hearing will also investigate what methods are being used to determine if any of these planets may harbor life. The hearing will explore existing and planned astrobiology research strategies and roadmaps. And here's who the witnesses were: Mary Wojtek, Sarah Seeger, and Dr. Stephen J. Dick. You have a video here. It's over an hour long, hour and a half, so you can watch what this was all about. And that link is available for you, firstcontactradio.com. Now, let's take a look over our favorite volcano here in Mexico, Popocatepetl. This has a fleet this time, not just one, but a fleet of them. This is from the 5th. Remember, they have a webcam pointed this way, so people see these things all the time. And there we go, whole series of objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7th if we count that little one there. Alright, there they are, moving. Oh, I see, this is this one right here, okay. So, very nice, very interesting. And again, if you go, there's a live cam so you can watch what's going on in Popocatepetl. See for yourself, but that is what is happening at the volcano. Now, we're going to go over from there to Sydney, Australia. This was on the 6th. Object in question, close-up view. For the last few years, many UFO hunters have tried to use infrared filters over their cameras during the day so that they can catch cloaked UFOs. Since infrared light is invisible to the human eye, we can only see it through an IR filter. And that's exactly what this is doing. Okay, so we have a nice large object there. round orb-shaped object. Seen this plenty of times. Okay, moving along from here. Next, we're going to go to the space station. I watched this video 5 times, and I have to say this object is there. The UFO is a triangle shape, and the whitish area looks to be a lot like pilot's cockpit canopy. This may be top secret TR-3B, but I really doubt that NASA is stupid enough to allow the TR-3B to record it on live cam, so that leaves only one other option: aliens. It's an alien craft, and it has a perfectly balanced shape. Alright, we can take a look here. This video, it's 1 minute 23 seconds long. ISS, and there's the object out there. So you can check out the link, see what you think about that. But very interesting. It does bring a good point. Would NASA allow their spy TR-3B to be photographed? Probably not. Okay, so you definitely see there's something out there. Right here, if you're not certain where you're looking. Okay. Pretty fascinating, and let's move from there. This is an object. This is a GIF of an object. You can see this object has some sort of long antenna-like structure coming off of it, long arm or whatever. Now, this is being reported as an unknown satellite, which means they are guessing. I have a better guess. This looks like one of the UFOs that the Russian scientists talked about that orbits our sun. Sure, this UFO is round with a long arm, but as of June 1965, astronaut James McDivitt saw a UFO while orbiting and states it had a very definite shape, a cylindrical object. It was white. It had a long arm that stuck out on the side. In other words, a UFO with a long arm. So please take this seriously. There are many shapes of UFOs, and the one in the photo above shows a round object with a long arm, evidence that points to this to be real. Okay, that's the object in question, so you can check out the link, and as always, see what you think. Alright, this is over Taylor Hill, Australia. This was on the 7th. Multiple squads of UFOs over Taylor Hill. I was out for routine sky watching. I witnessed at 11:30 a.m. Saturday the 7th, when I witnessed a squad of 4 UFOs flying north in the sky over Taylor's Hill. The objects can be seen joining with separate squad heading east. Alright, look at that. A whole group of them. Let's move on from Taylor's Hill to California. This was on the 7th. This is new video footage of a bright light recorded in the night sky above California on the 7th. I walked out of my house and witnessed a large glowing red-orange object above me that traveled south to southwest with no erratic movements. There's our object in question. Let me get a replay. It's a quick video. Okay. And let's move from there. One last piece. This is over Gilbert Queen Creek, Arizona. Gilbert Queen Creek, Arizona. My friend and I were leaving my house, and we were getting in their car when I pointed to some strange lights behind her. The lights, I think 4 or 5 total, were slowly moving in different directions. Our south. Our airport is the opposite direction, and there is really only residential areas in the desert and in that direction where the lights were. Okay. There's our object in question. Okay, nice big triangle there in the sky. And that is our UFO news report for today. Stay tuned. I have more stories coming up. I'll be right back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right, continuing on. So we're going to continue with a couple stories here about Obamacare, because that's really one of the biggest concerns that we seem to be having these days. Well, one of many. All right, so let's get over to this is a piece here in which Obamacare is talking about jail time for people who don't buy insurance. This is just absolutely beyond ridiculous here. So check this out. Listen to it. Here we go.
Those who can afford to buy insurance but don't, can afford to do it but don't, pay a fine. And if they refuse to pay a fine, there's a threat, as there is with lots of tax fines, there's a threat of jail time. And the Senate removed that provision in the Senate Finance Committee. Do you think it's appropriate to have a threat of jail time for those who refuse to buy insurance?
You know, what I think is appropriate is that in the same way that everybody has to get auto insurance, and if you don't, you're subject to some penalty, that in this situation, if you have the ability to buy insurance, it's affordable, and you choose not to do so, forcing you and me and everybody else to subsidize you. You know, there's a $1,000 hidden tax that families all across America are burdened by because of the fact that people don't have health insurance. You know, there's nothing wrong with a penalty. Now, what those penalties are, I think they have to be high enough that people don't game the system. On the other hand, I think it's important for us not to be so punitive that people who are having a hard time suddenly find themselves worse off because of health care reform, and that's why we built in some hardship exemptions. There may be situations, relatively rare, where even after the subsidies that are provided, it's still very hard for people to afford to get the health insurance that they need. And we should anticipate and build in those hardship exemptions. But I think the general broad principle is simply that people who are paying for their health insurance aren't subsidizing folks who simply choose not to until they get sick and then suddenly they expect free health insurance. That's a basic concept of responsibility that I think most Americans abide by.
But as the Senate puts its final bill together, and as the House and Senate prepare to vote on after the conference committee, they should know: does the president think jail time is an appropriate?
Well, I'm not sure that's the biggest question
that
they're asking right now.
It's a question.
I think I put out the principle that penalties are appropriate for people who try to free ride the system and force others to pay for their health insurance.
Okay.
And I'd like to say that penalties are appropriate for persons who go into the White House and deceive the American people. Obama, Barry, you are a liar. And don't worry, your days are numbered. Your day's coming. You're one of the wicked and ungodly that will be removed from this planet. So I look forward to seeing that day happen, because you are a liar, and it's amazing that people are still buying into his nonsense. Now here's the latest. Okay, you got the jail time thing. Now, no American should ever be subjected to, if you don't buy something, you're going to go to jail. That's not American. But because we have a Muslim terrorist in the office, and I'm going to keep saying that over and over and over again till you absolutely get sick of it, and then maybe if you get sick of it, maybe you'll actually tell others about it. Because I tell people this all the time. I said, are you aware that the Egyptian government has come out saying that Obama's a Muslim terrorist? And people say, oh, okay. And then they just keep going on with their lives. A Muslim terrorist is in our office in the United States of America. He's tearing the country apart. Is it any wonder why he's tearing it apart? Not once you understand that he's a Muslim terrorist. Not once you understand all of the lies that he's told. But many, I don't know why, are still under the illusion, the spell that he has seemed to have over them. And I don't know why, because there's a lot of good people in the world, and why they would continue to believe the lies coming out of this man is really unbelievable. Unbelievable. Here's another story here. Obamacare. You can't choose your hospital either. Another lie. If you thought Obamacare couldn't get any worse, get any more unattractive to an increasingly skeptical American public, think again. A new report by the Financial Times reveals major hospitals, including 2 world-renowned cancer centers, are excluded from insurance plans being offered by offered over Obamacare-troubled online exchanges. Healthcare exchanges in New York, Texas, and California, according to the report, will not offer patients access to Memorial Sloan Kettering in Manhattan or MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston or Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles. In other words, you can't keep your plan if you like, you can't keep your doctor if you like him, and you can't keep your hospital if you like it. It could become another source of political controversy for the Obama administration next year when plans take effect, reports the Financial Times. Now, come on, Americans. Is this... What's wrong with you Americans out there? I know that you're listening to the show, that you're paying attention, but what's wrong with all the other folks? What's wrong with the people who are not getting this? I'm like a broken record sometimes, and I'm sure you feel the same way, you know, in the way that you're talking to your friends and telling them about this, but I don't get it. How people are so gullible in this particular area, I don't know. All right, here's Brother Nathaniel addressing the situation. Let's see what he has to say. Here we go.
I said it before, I'll say it again. Healthcare.gov cannot be fixed. McAfee nailed it when he told Fox News that the back-end code is a nightmare and the site a hacker's dream.
The architecture of the system is outrageous. I mean, it's great if you're a small shoe manufacturer in Pocatello, Idaho, and you have 200 customers, but to try to support the volume of business that the Obamacare system had to support, it can't do it. It's so full of holes that, like I said, hackers are licking their chops. This system, truly, it has to be shut down and started over. You must start from scratch if this is going to work properly.
And when 3 IT experts were asked by Congress if the site was secure, they nailed it too.
Do any of you think the site will be secure on November 30th?
No.
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 And the no's have it again.
How long do you think it will be before the site could be secure? Just give me an estimate of months.
Hard to estimate.
I don't have enough information.
A long time.
Added to the outrage is the site's window into our private lives, giving the government, which nobody trusts, easy access to our personal info, which they can and will surely use against us.
A couple of weeks ago, it was pointed out that in the source code there was a statement, you have no reasonable right to privacy or no reasonable expectations of privacy. And any data is submitted to this site can be used by any agency for any purpose. We're all going to be monitored by every agency of the government.
Not only agencies within our government who have, legal access to it, but anyone can have access to our information.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There are no security points that can guarantee the security of our data or that our data is not being used against us by people of ill will.
Can this be fixed the way they're going about it right now? It feels like a real haphazard way with these artificial timelines to get it fixed and back up and running.
It will look good and people will say, oh, wow, I can get on now and I'm having no problems. But it's going to be so full of holes that no one in their right mind would use it.
And in spite of the White House fix, thousands who thought they enrolled will discover come January 1 that their applications were never received due to the flawed code.
Even for those who have managed to navigate through the website and enroll, or at least think they have enrolled, are finding that the information has not gotten to the insurers. We talked to a gentleman in Georgia yesterday who finally, after 2 months of trying, got enrolled on the website, but when he called the insurance company to confirm and get his card, was told they had absolutely no record that he had the policy. The White House will not tell us how widespread this problem is, but they acknowledge it's a problem.
It's a huge problem on top of the mess millions of Americans find themselves in, whose plans were canceled due to the liars' broken promises.
You can keep your plan if you are satisfied with it.
If you've got health insurance, you can keep it.
If you want to keep the health insurance you got, you can keep it.
If you like the insurance plan you have now, you can keep it.
If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your health care plan, You'll be able to keep your health care plan. Period.
Now Obama has added a comma to his period, heaping yet another fabrication to his mountain of lies.
Now, if you have or had one of these plans before the Affordable Care Act came into law, and you really liked that plan, what we said was you could keep it if it hasn't changed since the law's passed.
How did this nobody become president anyway? Billionaire Chicago Jews Betty Lou Saltzman, Penny Pritzker, and Lester Crown hired Jewish ad man David Axelrod back in the 90s to install the first black president that they could easily control.
Period.
But Americans aren't buying it. For now, with a broken website, broken promises, broken health coverage, it's time to repeal Obamacare and put the imposter out on the streets. Newsweek appears to be calling for it too, with its Hit the Road Barack cover story this week. And Forbes magazine indicts Obama for changing Obamacare 5 times, since the Constitution forbids him from changing an existing law apart from a congressional repeal. And now lawsuits filed by Hobby Lobby, Eden Foods, and Notre Dame are challenging Obamacare's anti-Christian birth control mandate that forces companies to provide morning-after pills, encouraging the sin of fornication. But does Obama care for the Constitution or the law of God? He backs killing babies in the womb, abortion, and the sin of homosexuality. With a broken system backed by an imposter that grants Big Brother more control over our lives and attacks the laws of God, it's time to throw the bum out and Obamacare with him.
All right, so there you go. That's the latest with Brother Nathaniel. And you know, despite the information that's out there, there's still 149,000 Americans who still went and signed up for this. To the 149,000 of you out there, what's wrong with you? Have you not understood the problems with this system? Did nobody bother to tell you? Or can we now just safely chalk you up as being those who are not informed Americans? I think we can probably do that. We'll probably find some more along the way, and this is the separating the wheat from the chaff, the intelligent ones from the idiots. This is the difference between those who walked into the furnaces and those who chose to go the other way. Silly, silly, silly. But to each his own, and if people want to keep going and buying into this liar's stories, hey, it's up to you, right? Continuing on now, let's turn our attention away from the jackass and his jackass care, and let's go over to look at this story here. Spy agencies in covert push to infiltrate virtual world of online gaming. NSA and GCHQ collect gamers, chats, and deploy real-life agents in the world of Warcraft and Second Life. To the National Security Agency analyst writing a briefing on his superiors, the situation was clear. The current surveillance efforts were lacking something. The agency's impressive arsenal of cable taps and sophisticated hacking was not enough. What is really needed was a horde of undercover orcs. That vision of spycraft sparked a concerted drive by the NSA and its UK sister agency, GCHQ, to infiltrate the massive communities playing online games, according to secret documents disclosed by whistleblower Edward Snowden. The files were obtained by The Guardian and are being published on the Monday in partnership with New York Times and ProPublica. The agencies and documents shown have built massive collection capabilities against the Xbox Live console network, which has more than 48 million players. Real-life agents have been deployed into virtual realms, from those orc hordes in the World of Warcraft to the human avatars of Second Life. There were attempts, too, to recruit potential informants from the game's tech-friendly users. Whoa! NSA is really doing some work now. They're infiltrating online games. Because we all know that when a person plays Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, we all know that they've got the secrets of the world at their hands, and we need to spend lots and lots of money. So good job, NSA. We knew that you would find a place that needed an investigation, and the World of Warcraft definitely does, because it's overrun by monsters and stuff like that. So good thing you got there in time when you did. Really good thing. All right. Craziness, craziness. Okay, so let's, you know that today, just a side note, today I guess is a day that the dictator wannabe has declared that people needed to fly their flags at half-mast for Nelson Mandela's death. Well, not all Americans feel that they should do that. There is one officer, a sheriff in South Carolina, who says he's defying the orders at his facility. He's not going to fly it at half-mast. And the reason being, he said, yes, Mandela's done some good things, but he's not an American. That yesterday they had their flag at half-staff for a deputy who lost his life in the line of duty, but he was not going to be flying it for Nelson Mandela, who isn't an American citizen. I completely understand with him. And if you look up the story of Nelson Mandela, you'll find that there's some discrepancies. I know a lot of people know about the good stuff he's done against apartheid, but apparently the reason he went to jail was for terrorist activities and was for connection to a communist organization that we're told that had infiltrated his country and that he was a part of. And then even worse yet, he was apparently implicated in a plot, a bombing plot that was going to take place to usher in more communism. So these are little things about Nelson Mandela that are out there that are kind of being swept under the rug. If that's true, it just kind of goes to show out of sight, out of mind, and you don't even think about what that person did. So that's what's going on with that. In case you're seeing flags at half-mast, those are those who are following Herr Dictator's decree. Okay, so switching gears, Hercolubus, excuse me. This was from from BP Earthwatch. Let's see what's going on with this at the moment.
December 7th, 2013. We're looking at the Enlil solar wind prediction chart. Notice your dates, guys, start yesterday on the 6th. You can see where your flares are coming off. Earth is in the green dot to the right. Stereo A is the red dot. Stereo B is the blue dot on the opposite side of the sun. Now, A is where most of our images are going to be coming from that I'm showing you. So you'll be getting that from that red dot looking across the sun to your right. You see the Earth. Sun will be rising above it. And notice where these flares are going. Just keeping it in mind that direction. I'll show you a couple things. This is getting kind of interesting. Still not sure what's going on. Notice back on the 28th, that's the day of perihelion. Everyone saw that image in several different cameras. No one knew what it was. Lens flare, whatever, don't know. But it appeared to be on the camera. And I think that this will be some of the last images we get on our HI1 camera, which is too bad because it was giving us some of our lower light images of ISON. Check that out. That thing is packed full, guys. Check that out. Now, I want to go to newer images. These are 7 days later. Now, look what pops up on the left. A couple other things in this image that are not quite right. Notice this flare is coming out from the center. It's not directed at ISON. Now, 7 days later, what pops up on the left. And I'm going to stop this and show you a couple things. ISON's climbing out of the right. One flare follows it. Then this strong flare comes straight out towards Earth. But look behind Earth. 7 days later. Now, also, guys, watch these flares. And even in the blue arrows, guys, there's even one that's a smaller flare that's approaching this object that is bending as if it knows it's there. Now, what it's looking like here, not a sun flare, it looks like you can see through an object and that it's slightly magnified as if it was glass. Now, people say, well, if it was something there, wouldn't you be able to see it that close? Not if you can see through it. But guys, again, watch this. Center flare comes out, starts to bend around. Look at that bend before it gets to Earth, guys. Now, not sure what's going on there. Here's an overlay of the sun. A lot of activity coming off that side. But I want to show you something else here. Watch as they come out again. Watch the solar wind from these flares. Watch how they bend and project after that center blast comes out towards Earth. It's coming in. Here's your object. Everything's starting to turn. There's ISUN at the top. Now, another instrument that you could use that would sense the presence of anything else around Earth, and Earth is that small dot in the center of the black dot. The white side of the dot represents the sun-facing side. It's daylight. Now, you can see as that flare came through today, notice this is the day's time, and how it bent our magnetopoles back. That is our shields, guys. That's our shields. Now, if there was something coming from the other side, would be able to see it in the magnetopoles. Notice how, as the flares hit it from the right, it flames out at the back. See the yellow? Notice the auroras in the blue come out behind the Earth there, guys. That's what you're seeing, that blow off. Now, what would happen if something approached the back of the Earth would look kind of like what it's looked like right here today. Balanced on both sides, auroras out both sides of the Earth. You see that? Actually, more pressure on the left side than the right. I don't know what this is, guys. A lot of people are talking about it. We'll see. We're also going to be watching ISUN. Heads up.
All right, so there you go. That's what's going on lately there. And I still think we should keep in mind that there are multidimensional planets that exist, and perhaps that we are seeing something of a multidimensional nature there with that planet. All right, I want to refresh your memory here. This is an article that came out from the NASA website, and this was in April, Comet Ice and Meteor Shower. Anticipation is building as Comet Ison plunges into the inner solar system for a close encounter with the Sun in November 2013. Blasted at point-blank range by solar radiation, the Sun Grazer will likely become one of the finest comets in many years. When NASA's Swift spacecraft observed the tiny comet in January of 2013, it was still near the orbit of Jupiter, but already very active. More than 112,000 pounds of dust were spewing from the comet's nucleus every minute. It turns out some of that dust might end up on Earth. Veteran meteor researcher Paul Weigart at the University of Western Ontario has been using a computer model to model the trajectory of dust ejected by Comet Ison, and his findings suggest that an unusual meteor shower could be in the offing. For several days around January 12, 2014, Earth will pass through a stream of fine-grained debris from Comet Ison, says Weigart. The resulting shower could have some interesting properties. According to Weigart's computer model, the debris stream is populated with extremely tiny grains of dust, no more than a few microns wide, pushed towards Earth by the gentle radiation pressure of the Sun. They will be hitting at a speed of 56 kilometers per second or 125,000 miles per hour. Because the particles are so small, Earth's atmosphere will rapidly slow them to a stop. Instead of burning up in a flash of light, they will gently drift down to Earth below, he says. Don't expect to notice. The invisible rain of cosmic dust, if it occurs, will be very slow. It can take months or even years for the fine dust to settle out of the high atmosphere. While the dust is up there, it could produce non-lucent clouds. NLCs, non-luminescent clouds, are icy clouds that glow electric blue as they float more than 80 kilometers above the Earth's poles. Recent data from NASA's AIM spacecraft suggests that NLCs are seeded by space dust. Tiny meteorites act as nucleating points where water molecules gather. The resulting ice crystals assemble into clouds at the edge of space itself. This is still speculative, but Comet Ison could provide the seeds for a non-luminescent display. Electric blue ripples over Earth's polar regions might be the only visible sign that a shower is underway. All right? So this was back in April. So they've been talking about this, prepping for it for a while, as you know, as we all know. So there you go. All right, let's move on from there now to this next story. And this one is called How to Ascend. This is part 2. Okay, last week we did part 1. This is How to Ascend, Intentions and Awareness, part 2. By Michael Walling. The road to ascension has many curves, bumps, potholes, and roadblocks. In order to travel this road with the least amount of damage, you must have intention to steer your vehicle with awareness of the hazards and alternative routes. Every person incarnated on this planet at this time has already made up a choice whether to ascend or not to ascend before they incarnated. Yes, there are some people who chose not to ascend in this lifetime. There are a multitude of reasons that our human brains cannot comprehend at the time, but a few examples are: 1. They knew that they would not be able to complete the lessons of balancing out karma necessary in preparation for ascension, and gave themselves in service as difficult people in our lives so that we may overcome our karma with them. Otherwise, they agreed to play the role of the dark for the creator's experiment. They are not from the solar system or universe or galaxy or cosmos. They may have had only a few lifetimes before this one and are just observers. They are here to help catapult humanity and Earth because the ascension of Earth and her life forms affects all life everywhere. They, for whatever reason, came to experience life as human and volunteered to be casualty in human history for a major event such as 9/11 or the Fukushima disaster. It has been said that everyone that dies in one of these disasters signed up for this incarnation. There are no accidents. Okay, puts a whole different spin on things to look at it in that regard, that there are no accidents. I'd assume that these people will stay on the planet until their jobs are done and exit through the traditional way of dying, lifting out of the human bodies. Then there are those who plan to ascend but have yet to awaken. We cannot judge these people either, as there are good reasons as well. Many have chosen to awaken at the very last second so they could experience much of the free-willed third-dimensional planet as possible. Then there are those poor souls who just knew they would awaken at the time that they had planned, but did not expect that the dark forces would be so powerful in their programming capabilities. Because you are reading this article, there is an excellent chance that you are awakening and searching for the instruction manual on how to ascend. The first thing that is necessary is tell the universe that you are ready to put your assignment into motion. This is done with intention and should be supercharged with emotion. That's energy in motion, in order to make sure it's effective. Once you set your intention in motion, it will be imperative to have awareness of what is happening all around you. By using the laws of attraction, manifestation, vibrational attainment, and gratitude, you can say your intentions out loud and have them heard by all those who are ready, willing, and able to help. Okay, and here we go a little further. It says the following subjects should be included in your attention manifestation speech. And here are 11 different points. 1. Ask your guardian angels, spirit guides, or space brothers and sisters of the light for white light protection, and ask them to prepare you to assist you in any way they can. 2. Connect with your higher self, your soul, and your monad. 3. Acknowledge your Creator and express gratitude for the opportunity to serve as part of Creator in this time on planet Earth. 4. Ask for help in remembering how to raise your vibration and ask for assistance with all of your bodies, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental. 5. Ask for assistance in adapting the body in order to expand more of your soul's light into the pillar of light. 6. Ask for assistance in assessing your own Akashic records, which holds all of the tools and experience from all of your past lives. 7. Ask to be graceful, compassionate, joyful, loving, and anything else you would like to exhibit. 8. Intend or command that your DNA strands be activated. 9. Ask that your body be healed, cleared of all, that your extrasensory perceptions be activated, including your third eye. 10. Ask for discernment in seeking the truth. And 11. Ask for confirmation and synchronicity that lead along your path. Lead the way along your path. And anything else you feel prompted to manifest, including the acceleration of only if you feel you are ready for the challenge. In order to stay on the path of ascension, you must be aware of our actions and our surroundings. Clues and cues have been there for us in our lives, and some have noticed them, but perhaps we mark them up as coincidence. Once you exercise the law of attraction and manifestation, it will be important to be aware more than ever of the synchronicities. Pay attention to what you're doing, what you're thinking, and what you are feeling at this time, a synchronistic event. If you cannot narrow the reasoning down, don't get too overwhelmed by left brain thinking. Just realize that you have asked for confirmation that you are indeed not alone in this journey. Alright, there's a little bit more to this article. I'm going to leave it to you. I want to get on with this. This is a message from Jesus. Here we go.
Jesus, very many of you have been extremely dissatisfied with your earthly lives.
December 7, 2013, by John Smallman.
Jesus.
Life is eternal. You are alive, and therefore you too are eternal beings. There truly is no death. Yes, Of course you lay down your illusory bodies as you leave the dream environment and return home from your travels, but that is a glorious awakening into the brilliance of reality. Your forthcoming human awakening or ascension is different because it will be a mass awakening in which you retain your bodies, which are then restored to full vitality and perfection, with an age or physical appearance and abilities appropriate to it that suits your wishes. In A Course in Miracles I talked of moving from the nightmare into a happy dream, and that is what is about to occur. Very many of you have been extremely dissatisfied with your earthly lives, and to move into a happy dream is the next stage on your journey back to reality. You cannot move fully into reality while holding on to any energies, attitudes, or beliefs that are not in complete alignment with our Source, God, our Heavenly Father, love. The happy dream is a state where all that you could desire is there for you. There is no need or possibility to compete or to fight to obtain your just deserts. All your needs and wants are met without in the least inconveniencing or short-changing anyone else. It is an environment in which you can learn to relax, release your fears and anxieties, and realize that you have no need of those negative aspects of yourselves. You will live there in joy, happily developing your infinite creative abilities, thus giving pleasure to all. It is very hard for you to imagine a world in which there is no conflict, no mistrust, no disappointment, only harmonious cooperation for the good of all, a good with which all can identify irrespective of their race, color, culture, or creed. From that joyful state, when you feel ready, you can move all the way home to join us in the spiritual realms. But the state of being in this happy dream is very soothing, relaxing, even enchanting, and many of you will be in no hurry to move on. And that is just fine. God wants only your complete happiness, and seeing you in the happy dream enjoying yourselves gives Him enormous joy too. This may sound to some of you like a change of plan, but I assure you that it is not. To describe in words the new environment into which you are about to be ushered is impossible. There is a very great difference between the happy dream and reality, but from your human perspective or vantage point it is almost impossible for you to differentiate between them purely because of the perspective limitations that your humanity imposes upon you. Consequently, the happy dream will, for all of you, be a heavenly experience. You will have no worries, no fears, no lack. In fact, anything that you could imagine you might need to make you happy will be instantly at your disposal. But of course, because of your varied and harsh experiences in the illusion, it will take some time for you to adjust into a state of complete confidence in your safety and security. You have all experienced abandonment and the intense pain it caused you, to a greater or lesser extent, and so it will take time for you to release all the ingrained suspicion that suggests to you that it could happen again. I assure you that it will not, in fact it cannot, but you will need time to accept that this is true, that abandonment, suffering, or betrayal can never, ever happen to you again. Over many Earth lives within the illusion you experienced abandonment and betrayal, rescue from abandonment and betrayal, and then further abandonment and betrayal, and so it is difficult for you to release all the ingrained pain and suspicion that those experiences brought to you. Many of you have helped with abandoned children. Yes, there are still far too many of them on Earth right now, despite the enormous progress your collective has made in moving into love, or pets, and so you are aware of how long it can take to rebuild their trust, and of how easily it can again be destroyed. Well, in the state that is the happy dream, that breakdown of rebuilt trust and faith cannot recur. That trust and faith, that confidence that you are truly safe at last can only get stronger, it can never be weakened or destroyed. However, each of you will develop lasting trust at the pace that suits you best. No one will attempt to rush you, the pace of development that you choose will be wholly honored, always. You are all intensely honored for what you have undergone during your many and varied Earth lives, and for the spiritual progress you have made in spite of all the obstacles, diversions, and general distractions that have frequently taken your attention away from the task in hand, waking up. The love that surrounds you all is now making its inevitable and irresistible way into every human heart, and the effects of that are becoming ever more difficult to ignore or deny. It has been a long hard road, but the end is in sight. Your loving brother, Jesus.
Alright, very nice message. Let's check out our angel message for today. Little angel, click on the angel, and the message is: yoga and exercise are an essential part of well-being. Honor your house and spirit lives in. Honor the house your spirit lives in, and take care of your body. All right, very good. So yoga and exercise is good. So get out there and do something to keep your body in good shape, your mind, body, and your spirit. All right, let's go to a meditation now. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. I want you to imagine that you are looking in a mirror. And as you look in the mirror, you see yourself, who you are right now. And you look closer into that mirror. And you see beyond who you are now. You see beyond the moment when you arrived at Earth. And you remember a time when you made an agreement to come down to this planet. You remember the time when you made an agreement to come down and help because there was help required. You remember volunteering like many, many others did. And you remember above all, the important part of this journey is the ascension at the end. And so you think about the process of ascension that is ahead of you. The process that you came to participate in. And you realize that as time draws near, we must all learn to let go of those obstacles and challenges which hold us back. We must move forward confidently towards the ascension that is our destiny. So imagine yourself adapting to all of the energy of the earth, and feel yourself ascending from the earthly mission, ascending to the next higher vibration, and imagine the whole planet going through this process of ascension. And as you notice the planet changing and ascending, and others upon the planet, many, many souls ascending with it, you also see those who are not ascending, those who chose to end their journey here. So we simply send them good vibes and good wishes, knowing that they will be returned to do it again according to their own needs. So let's imagine the earth going through this ascension and all of the souls ascending with it, and let's us imagine entering a new world, a world of peace and harmony, a world where those who wish to cause harm to others do not have a place, a world where they are not allowed to enter, and all those who do enter are those who have risen and intend to live their lives according to peaceful, harmonious ways. So let's just think of peace and harmony as we go through the world today. And just imagine sending these ideas of peace and harmony out to each and every individual we meet. To each and every individual we meet. So let's just contemplate this peace and harmony as we go through the course of our day, what it is, what it feels like. Let our subconscious mind continue to explore this. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's it for today. That'll get us started for the week. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Have an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.